The first delegation that we have is Matthew Bergman. And Mr. Bergman, I think I see you on the screen there. If you can just unmute yourself and turn on your camera, which you've done, thank you. And you've got 5 minutes to address us again at council. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Matthew Bergman. I'm here representing the Indigenous Action Committee, the Indigenous community of York Region. I'm not here to talk about pickleball. According to your website, Indigenous people were the first people in Richmond Hill going back as far as 7,000 BC. Richmond Hill has a long history of First Nations inhabitants all the way into the 16th century. I'm here thousands of years later to tell you we are still here. We are still here, but we are displaced. We are displaced people, which is why our committee exists. Our main mandate is to bring the Indigenous community of Richmond Hill and York Region back together through events, services, and outreach. But in order to do these things, we need a place or places to do it. How, in a municipality as vast as York Region and a city as rich as Richmond Hill, is there not one location for Indigenous people to gather? How can this even be possible? Surely the first people on this land deserve better than that. It's time to change this. It's time for the government to step up and to provide things for this community. And not just the federal government. You, as a municipal government, can help make these changes. I could go on and on and on and on and on about the wrongdoings of the government towards the First Nations people. But it's time to move forward and to start the reconciliation process and allow people to heal from the intergenerational trauma they've had to endure thanks to residential schools, scoops, and the general mistreatment of our people by the government. When we saw the Air House was going to be repurposed, we thought it would be a great idea to turn it into a Native Cultural Center. It's a great property that the city already owns. And as I said before, all of York Region is lacking in any locations or services. Any. We're talking any. Designed and dedicated to the First Nations community. We thought it was a great opportunity for the city of Richmond Hill to live up to their mandate of diversity and inclusion to the Indigenous people with action that could help thousands of people in our city and the surrounding areas for generations to come. At the end of the day, in our opinion, it would be a valuable investment, both for the city itself and for the Indigenous community. It's valuable because it would create more culture and positivity, both in the city of Richmond Hill and for the Indigenous community, and would be a place of healing, learning, and togetherness. It could bring the First Nations community together, but could also expose non-Indigenous people to things they don't normally get to see or be part of, which a lot of people want to be part of. It can create support and allies, which is what our community needs. You, the city of Richmond Hill, are in a position right now to lead the way in reconciliation by doing something like this. You could set a positive example for other cities to do more for this community that has been held down time and time again. Regardless of whether we get this property or even just access to it, we need to make it easier for the Indigenous community to have access to spaces for events, workshops, drum circles, sacred fires, and all other cultural events and demonstrations. There's simply too much red tape around everything. And when it comes to our community, we feel we at least deserve more support and assistance with locations and spaces, which isn't a lot to ask, seeing as all this land used to be ours, and it was stolen from our people for basically nothing. Our people were tricked into signing treaties, ones which didn't have our best interest in mind, and ones the people who were signing them didn't even fully understand. There's a lot owed to our people, and I don't feel like asking for some old house that the city already owns or some space to use for cultural practices is a lot to ask for, really. Our committee isn't a fly-by-night situation. We intend on continuing and are dedicated to providing for our community with or without your support. But we would like your support, and it would make things easier. We will keep coming to lobby for these things. We do it because we care about our community, not for any political or financial gain. We are volunteers. We are of this community, and we're trying to convey to you the issue our community faces. We will continue to convey this. We don't feel we are asking for a lot. We are not asking you to build anything or to spend any money. We are just asking for easy access to spaces for our events and educational programs, which we have already planned. As I said, these things are going to happen. It's up to the council to decide if the city wants to be involved in those things or not. We look at that old house that's not being used and see a lot of good that could happen there. It could be very positive, and in a world like this, creating positive things is needed. Thank you for your time. I really hope you consider the things I've said here today and the things I've said in the past, and thank you for giving me time. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bergman. Great presentation. The next